We are just a couple days away from UFC Fight Night. Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy, which means it's time for me to go through every single fight on this card, tell you who I think is going to win. Obviously I didn't do a recap video for UFC Mexico City. There was a lot of power outages and shit close to home here, so couldn't get that done. I guess maybe I can do a couple key moments here. You know, Ronaldo Rodriguez fucked up my perfect night at the office. Pretty upset about that. I really thought he was gonna win. He fucked up a parlay of mine. I was really heavy on him. So that sucked. But you know, I got a lot of good picks on this card. I won't spend too much time on it, but you know, let me jump right into this. You know, Josh Emmett, Lerone Murphy, just one of the worst posters I've seen here. Like, I hate this blue background with what is this blood red saturated filter that they got, like, just plastered over top of these guys. I hate this. I think it looks terrible. I don't know who's getting paid to design something that looks this bad. Like, this is, it does not look visually pleasing. I don't know why they did it like that. And, like, the poster doesn't look any better. They have, like, this blood, like, it's just a blue, I don't get the dark blue background with a blood red saturated filter over the fighters. It doesn't please my eye. I won't lie. Like, it doesn't really look that good. So yeah, let me hop right into it. You know, first fight of the card, we've got Loma Lookboonme versus Istella Nunes. This is a short notice fight. Istella Nunes was supposed to fight a few weeks ago against who was her opponent? I can't even think in my head right now. It was Molly McCann, wasn't it? It was Molly McCann. Molly McCann ends up fighting Alexia Thenara instead. Istella Nunes hasn't fought in a while. She's coming off an arm. She broke her arm against Victoria Dudakova quite a long time ago. It was like September of 2023. Loma Lookboonme, she doesn't really stay that active, but I'm more confident in her showing up and having a good performance than Istella Nunes coming back and breaking a 4-fight losing streak after breaking her arm in half as well. I don't really think she's going to do good here. I think Loma Lookboonme is going to take this home. Istella Nunes does have a massive reach advantage here, but you know, I think Luma's got skills in her arsenal, man. She's going to take home a decision victory. Not spending more time on that one. Next fight on the card, we got Vanessa Demopolous versus Talita Alencar. Back to back? Are we doing this? Really? Anyways, you know, Vanessa Demopolous, you never really know what you're going to get with her. Last fight, she lost to Jacqueline Amorim, but I don't know if you guys remember. Jacqueline Amorim, I think she was holding Vanessa Demopoulos' glove to get her into that armbar, and Demopolous is like arguing to the referee at the time, is like yelling to the ref, is like, she's got my glove, she's hooking my glove, and then she gets armbarred and taps out, and the referee doesn't do anything about it. So you can't change that. Emily Ducote split decision win. I called that down to a T, down to the split decision. That was like plus 1100, guys. Effortless. I don't think this one's going to be a split, though. You know, Talita Alencar, I don't really give any credit to. She's this, like, BJJ girl, pulling guard and going for some weak submissions. I don't think she's that good. And I just think, even if this goes to the ground, Vanessa Demopoulos has not a bad grappling game. I think she'll be able to stick in there with Talita Alencar, and she's going to take home a decision victory. I'm more confident in this one. Not a split decision this time. This is going to be unanimous for Vanessa Demopoulos. That's what we're going with. Next fight on the card, we've got Victor Henry versus Pedro Falcao. Victor Henry's coming off a loss to Charles Jourdain. Only a couple months ago, like 4 months ago, it was a submission choke pretty early on in the fight. He beat Ronnie Yaya before that. Lost a no contest to David Basharab from a kick to the groin. Split decision to Tony Gravely. Pedro Falcao is coming off a loss to Victor Hugo. That's how he got in the UFC. But I don't really think this guy belonged in the UFC anyways. Like, he did get a KO on Contender Series and didn't get a contract. And then they brought him into the UFC. But I just don't think he's going to beat Victor Henry. Victor Henry had a slight reach advantage, and Usually he's crafty enough to throw off a guy like Pedro Falcao, I think. And I'm gonna go with the Victor Henry decision win most likely. That's gonna be my pick here. Moving up to the next fight, we've got Rhys McKee versus Daniel Frunza. Oh man, I'm pretty confident in Daniel Frunza this week. Rhys McKee's terrible, coming off a split decision loss to Nchechukwu, and Angelusa unanimous decision win. You know, after that Hamzat loss, he did put together a few fight win streak, but this guy's knocking everyone out, and I think he's gonna obliterate Rhys McKee in the first round with a whatever it is, but it's gonna be a knockout in the first round. That's the official pick. Moving on to the next one, Dione Barbosa versus Belbita. Jesus. Barbosa's pretty good. She lost to Miranda Maverick last fight, but it was a pretty close fight despite it being unanimous. I think she did win a round of that fight. She beat her Nesta Karikate. Dione Barbosa, oh my god, I'm butchering these names. Diana Belbita lost to Molly McCann. And that's all I really gotta say. She's pretty. I think she's training out of Canada now too, so it does suck to say this. I think she's training out in Niagara Falls, actually, pretty close by. But she's not winning this one. She's not winning this one. But Barbosa's going to take her down and probably get a submission win in this fight. That's going to be my pick. Yeah, that's going to be my pick. Dione Barbosa by submission is going to be the official pick in this one. Next fight, we've got Davey Grant versus Daniel Santos. Davey Grant's coming off of a Ramon Tavares decision win. He just beat him up over 3 rounds, looked really good. Daniel Santos beat Johnny Munoz in his last fight. John Castaneda as well. He lost to Julio Arce. But Davey Grant, split decision to Daniel Marcos, split decision to Adrian Nunes. They're not terrible losses. They really aren't. And he was sticking it in there only a few months ago with Ramon Tavares. But I don't think Ramon Tavares was all that good. You know, I thought Surrey City won that fight in Canada at 297. I thought that should have been to Surrey City. I'm going to pick Daniel Santos to win this fight. I really can't. Guys, you understand. I don't know if you've seen the videos the past few weeks. I'm not picking 40-year-olds to win these fights against these young up-and-comers. I think Daniel Santos is pretty good. I think he's pretty good, you know? And Davey Grant's now 40 years old. And I get he looked good against Ramon Tavares, but I don't think Ramon Tavares was all that good in the first place. So I'm going with Daniel Santos. I think he's going to grit it out. Maybe a split decision win. You know, that usually those don't go to Davey Grant's. They don't go to Davey Grant's way. So I'm going to go with Daniel Santos to win this one. I can't pick a 40-year-old to win a fight against a 30-year-old. It's just... And I think Daniel Santos is pretty good. I just have no faith in Davey Grant to win this fight. Even though he won against Ramon Tavares. He's a 50-50 fighter most of the time anyways. So Daniel Santos is winning against Davey Grant. Next fight, we've got Luis Gurule versus Ode Osbourne. Oh, man. I hate this fight. I absolutely despise this fight. Ode has a 9-inch reach advantage. He's a 9-inch reach advantage on Luis Gurule. Who do I pick? Luis is 10-0. He's only 2 years... Ode's only 33. That's insane. And he thinks he won the Ronaldo fight. Now he's going to be coming in with a vengeance because, he knocked down Ronaldo. He thinks he got robbed. Luis Gurule, he won a split decision over Nick Piccinini. That's not that good, man. Nick Piccinini nearly won that fight. I just think a 9-inch reach advantage is quite sizable. And I don't think Luis Gurule is on the same level as, Asu Amabayev and Jafel Filo. He might be on the same level as Ronaldo Rodriguez, though, after last weekend. Do I pick Luis Gurule? Or do I pick Buday Osbourne? I am at a loss right now. You know, Buday's plus 200 on the books, and I would love to take that. But, you know, would I be confident in picking Buday Osbourne at the end of the day? No. It's still Buday Osbourne. This guy, what's his overall record? 12-8. That's, oh my god, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. That's pretty terrible. I'm gonna go Luis Gurule. I think you can be more confident at least on Luis Gurule if you're than picking Buday Osbourne, obviously. Even with the reach disadvantage, I don't like Buday usually has this reach advantage here in fights like these. I think he had a reach advantage over Ronaldo Rodriguez as well. But look what happened in that fight. He let it slip, even with a knockdown. So I'm going to go with Luis Gurule to take home a decision win. We're played smart. Next fight, we've got Robert Valentin versus Torrez Finney. If you smell... Torrez Finney's taking this home. I'm so confident in this guy. He's the triple champion of Dana White Contender Series. Robert Valentin, who is his fight? Ryan Loader just took him down at will, got him in a crucifix, and battered him. And Valentin, it looked like he had never been on the ground in his entire life. Torrez Finney's going to double leg this guy to hell, slam him through the mat, and show Robert Valentin Valhalla. Torrez Finney's taking this home. TKO. Next fight, we've got Gerald Meershaert versus Brad Tavares. Two and three in his last 5, and 1-4 in his last 5. I want to vomit in my mouth. Gerald did take Reiner de Ritter to the 3rd round. He did last quite a while, but I think there was some octagon jitters with Reiner de Ritter. That was his first UFC fight, and I think there might have been some issues going into that fight for Reiner de Ritter. Seems to have polished them out. I don't think Gerald Meershaert's going to win this one. I don't know. He totally could. I might as well flip a coin for this one. You know, there really is no point. He has a reach advantage over Brad Tavares. Brad Tavares looked terrible recently. Like, why is he at minus 250? Why is he at minus 250? He's looked terrible recently. You know? Lost to DDP. Got KO'd by Bruno Silva. That's insane. Got KO'd by Gregory Rodriguez. That's less insane. Split decision to Jung Park. I mean, he's stuck in there. But Gerald Meershaert, he's not a pushover. I don't, like, Brad Tavares is going to have to win a decision here. I don't see him knocking out. I don't see him knocking out Gerald Meershaert now. You know? Fuck. I'm going to pick Gerald Meershaert. I'm going to pick Gerald Meershaert to win this fight. I just, I don't understand the odds here. I'm going to pick Gerald Meershaert to win this fight by... How is he going to win this fight? Decision? Probably by decision. Imagine if Gerald Meershaert TKOs Brad Tavares. That would be magical, man. I'm going to pick Gerald Meershaert to win this fight. I like the underdog a lot. I don't think Brad Tavares has it in him anymore. You know, we've seen Gerald Meershaert tough it out a lot more than Brad Tavares has. You're getting knocked out by Bruno Silva? That's enough. The next fight, just a truly blockbuster, feature, amazing fight on the card here. We've got Kennedy and Nchechukwu versus Martin Buday. This is a short notice fight. Kennedy was supposed to fight... Oh, no, it wasn't. I swear to God. I thought Kennedy was supposed to fight someone else. Well, that's my bad. That's my bad. I thought Kennedy was supposed to fight someone else a few weeks ago. Anyways, Martin Buday, you know, when was his last fight? Andrei Arlovsky, he was Andrei's last fight in the UFC, I believe, 8 months ago, split decision win. Not that impressive at all. Lucas Bresky, KO win. Chris Barnett, he KO'd Kennedy and Nchechukwu. they're pretty good wins, and I just think he's gonna get out Martin Buday. I think he's gonna knock out Martin Buday. It seems like whenever Martin gets a good KO, a good striker on the other side, he kind of folds. Shamil Gaziev is the recent example of that. And Kennedy Nchechukwu, he's got good striking, and he's looked pretty good at heavyweight so far, and he has a 6-inch reach advantage here, so yeah, I'll ride the train. Kennedy Nchechukwu, round 1 KO win over Martin Buday. That's the official pick. Next fight, we got Cortavious Romeus versus Chang Ho Lee. Cortavious coming off of a loss against Gaston Bolanos. Chang Ho Lee coming off of a win over Long Zhao. But I don't think that's that of a good win. Long Zhao did not look good in his... I think he lost his next fight, Long Zhao, a few weeks ago. It was like pretty recent. I am so off. No, Quang Lee. I'm thinking of someone else. Usually the road to UFC guys aren't that good, though. So I don't really give too much stock in a win over Long Zhao. Chang Ho Lee is a slight underdog, or a slight favorite against Cortavious Romeus, though. I mean, he got knocked out by Ramon Tavares. Yeah, no, it kind of makes sense. I think Chang Ho Lee is good at getting takedowns off and holding you down and getting strikes off on the mat. And how good is Cortavious Romeus really? He got flatlined on the Contender Series the first time. Gaston Bolanos. I mean, that was a close fight, but Bolanos was obviously doing more the whole time and just beat him up. I'm siding with Chang Ho Lee in this one over Cortavious Romeus. He disappointed me a lot in his last fight. Next fight, the co-main event: Joe Anderson Brito versus Pat Sabatini. Joe Anderson Brito lost his last fight, but he really should have won that fight. He did more damage than William Gomi, and Gomi was just stalling against the fence. But that's the one time the judges flip flop when they use that as a scoring criteria or not. William Gomi was just holding him against the fence, and they scored that instead of Joe Anderson Brito's damage. But Pat Sabatini, he won his last fight against Jonathan Pierce pretty quickly. Lost to Diego Lopez. Lost to Damon Jackson. Beat Lucas Almeida. Like, how much stock are we putting into these wins that he has? Jonathan Pierce, Lucas Almeida. Jonathan Pierce is on Joe Anderson Brito's record as well. Same with Jack Shore. I think Joe Anderson Brito is a bit more physical if someone's on the feet. And, I think Joe Anderson Brito is going to be looking for a knockout blow a bit more than Pat Sabatini would be. Pat Sabatini might be able to lace up a submission on the ground. That's obviously an opportunity, but Brito's winning this fight, guys. Brito's winning this fight. Possible knockout win, I could see. Decision win, I could see. What am I going to go with? I'm going to say Joe Anderson Brito wins a decision. No. I'll side with the topology community. I'll say he knocks out Pat Sabatini. We're moving on to the main event. Josh Emmett, Lerone Murphy. Josh Emmett hasn't fought in a while. December of 2023, he knocked out Bryce Mitchell very early on in the fight. It wasn't a long fight at all. Went 5 rounds with Ilia Topuria. Lost to Yair Rodriguez. One of these guys has stayed active. One of them hasn't. One of them's 40 years old. One of them's 33. You already know how I feel about that. Lerone Murphy did get knocked down pretty bad against Dan Ige. If Josh Emmett connects like that, that obviously could end the fight. I don't want to pick someone to just get one punch and win. I think Lerone Murphy has more ways to win. He could take him down if this is going all 5 rounds, and it's like Lerone has good head movement. He showed it off in his last fight, and he got caught early on. Do I think a 40-year-old Emmett's going to catch him? I don't know. There's a chance, but if he doesn't in the first or second round, he's going to slow down, and Murphy's going to track him, and his head movement's going to start working, and his in and out's going to start working, and his strikes at range are going to start working. He has good elbows when he comes in too. I think if someone's going to get cut, it's probably going to be Josh Emmett. Gonna say Lerone Murphy by a decision over 5 rounds. It's gonna go all 5 again, and Emmett might get cut. You know, just like, I'm not saying cut from the company. I'm saying like a cut on his head, pretty bad. You know, he might be bleeding over the course of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I think he's gonna slow down though. I don't think a 40-year-old's gonna have a better cardio than Lerone Murphy at 33 years old, who stayed active. You know, Dan Ige was only 4 months ago. Edson was 6 before that. He's been staying active way more than Josh Emmett has. So I think Lerone Murphy's taking this home by decision. That's going to be the official pick. Obviously, Emmett could land a punch. I'm not going to pick Emmett to just land a punch, though. I think there's a better chance Murphy is going to grit out 5 rounds. He might even get hit at one point and get like knocked down or hurt. But he has a great recoverability. Even after he got hit against Dan Ige, he was back up to his feet. He was throwing a flying knee in the next 10 seconds. So that's got to speak volumes to how his recoverability is. So I'm going to go with Lerone Murphy here to win a decision. Let me know what you guys think. That's all the fights on the card. We'll be back here for more videos soon. I have a couple planned out that I gotta get done, but I'm a slacker usually, so we'll see what happens. I got a couple in the arsenal here, but yeah, let me know what you guys thought of the picks. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.